The sky above the frontier world of Halcyon 3 was usually calm, washed in soft blue light from its twin moons. People living on the surface often said the sky felt like an old friend, always there, always gentle. But on the day the dragon fell, the sky became a battlefield. The DSS Dragon was humanity's proudest starfighter, a symbol known across colonies and stations. Its pilot, Commander Rhea Vance, was one of the youngest aces in service, respected not only for her skill, but also for her calm, steady mind. She had fought many battles before, but none had prepared her for what came that morning. Her ship trembled as warning alarms flashed across the screen. The sensors detected movement, too much movement, too fast to be natural. Rhea's eyes narrowed as the shapes appeared on her display. The Velcor swarm had come again. These alien attackers were unlike any other enemy humanity had faced. They moved with mechanical precision and hunted in tight formations, as if sharing one mind. Rhea breathed slowly and prepared the dragon. The ship's engines glowed bright gold, ready to meet the threat. She had faced the swarm before, but something felt different this time. Their numbers were higher. Their path was direct. They were not scouting, not testing. They were hunting. The first wave struck with harsh beams of light that cut across the sky. Rhea moved the dragon in a rapid dive, turning at sharp angles only her ship could survive. She fired back, and 2 enemy craft exploded in blue sparks. But for every one she struck, 10 more filled the sky. Below her, Halcyon 3's cities watched the growing storm, unsure if help would arrive before the worst happened. Rhea opened a channel to command, but all she heard was static. The swarm's interference blocked communications. She was alone with her ship, alone against a force too large to count. The dragon's wings glowed with strain as she pushed it harder. She flew upward, cutting through enemy lines in an attempt to break their formation. The ship responded with perfect loyalty, every movement smooth and sharp. It was the kind of Bond pilots dreamed of, a silent trust between human and machine. But the swarm adapted. They always did. One group split off, circling behind her. Rhea tried to shake them with a barrel roll, but the enemies predicted the move. A violent strike hit the dragon from the rear. Lights burst across her cockpit. The ship shook so hard that Rhea felt her teeth rattle. Another hit followed, then another. She tried to stabilize, but the ship's systems flickered like dying stars. A burning smell filled the air. Rhea coughed, fighting to keep her focus. The dragon was wounded, but she refused to surrender the sky. She turned sharply, firing a full burst into the nearest enemy cluster. For a moment, she felt hope as several burst apart. Then the final hit came. It struck the underside of the ship with a force that felt like the sky itself had cracked. The dragon's engines failed, leaving the ship drifting helplessly. Warning lights glowed in red streaks across every screen. A siren screamed. Rhea tried to reroute power, but the controls no longer obeyed. The ship was dying. Rhea's breath trembled. She thought of the people on the surface, the engineers who had built the dragon, her fellow pilots. She thought of how much trust had been placed in her. The weight of responsibility pressed down on her shoulders. The ground rushed upward. She activated the emergency crash system. The cockpit sealed around her, filling with protective foam. Her last sight before everything dimmed was the open sky, beautiful, even in disaster. Then the world turned white. When she opened her eyes again, she felt disconnected from her own body. There was no weight in her legs, no movement, no sensation. It was as if half of her had disappeared. Panic rose in her chest, but she fought it down as she had been trained. She saw doctors around her, speaking softly, shining lights in her eyes, checking her pulse. Their faces carried a careful calm that only terrible news could create. One doctor stepped forward. His voice was gentle, but heavy. He explained that she had survived the crash because the emergency system had functioned perfectly, but her spine had taken severe damage. The impact had been too much. She was paralyzed from the waist down. Rhea stared at the ceiling, unable to process the words. She had always been a pilot. Always moving fast, always in control. Now she could not even wiggle a toe. The dragon had broken, and she felt broken with it. But outside the hospital walls, humanity reacted in a way the swarm had not expected. Instead of falling into fear, people grew angrier, more determined. They refused to let the loss of the dragon become a symbol of defeat. Soldiers who had never met Rhea spoke her name with pride. Civilians gathered across cities, holding signs that said, "Rise again." Engineers cried when they saw the dragon's shattered frame being carried back to Earth, but they did not give up. They made plans. They shared ideas. They whispered of rebuilding. To them, Rhea was not a fallen hero, she was a reminder of how far humans could push themselves. Rhea, meanwhile, struggled with her new reality. She trained her upper body daily, hoping even a small movement in her legs would return. She stayed isolated, refusing visitors, except doctors. She replayed the crash in her mind again and again, wondering if she could have prevented it, wondering if she had failed. But even in her lowest moments, there was a small, stubborn spark inside her. A spark that whispered that she was not finished. Humanity had never been a species that accepted limits. Even when nature or enemies pressed them down, they found ways to rise again. If they could rebuild starships from scraps, they could find new paths for broken pilots too. And somewhere far above, hidden beyond debris and burn marks, the remains of the dragon waited quietly in the hangar of Project Forge. Engineers circled around it with wide eyes and stubborn hearts. They whispered that the ship could fly again, that the dragon's fall was not its end, that humanity always found a way. They only needed someone brave enough to link her fate with the ship's second life. Someone who had already touched the sky and refused to accept defeat. They needed Rhea. And though she did not yet know it, her journey back to the sky had already begun. Days turned into weeks as Rhea remained in the rehabilitation center, her legs still motionless. Every morning she woke hoping for a miracle, and every night she slept knowing nothing had changed. And Rhea Vance had never been someone who surrendered easily. One quiet afternoon, her room door slid open and a figure stepped in. He was an older man with silver hair and tired but sharp eyes. A small badge on his coat read Dr. Alistair Cade, Project Forge lead engineer. Rhea had heard of him. Everyone in the engineering world had. He was known for impossible ideas that somehow worked. Dr. Cade gave her a respectful nod. "Commander Vance, I hope I'm not disturbing you." Rhea straightened in her bed. "You're not. But I wasn't expecting visitors." "I imagine not," he said with a small smile. "Still, there is something I need to discuss with you. Something important." She studied him carefully. Most people came with sadness or pity in their eyes. Dr. Cade had neither. He had determination. "What is it?" she asked. "The dragon," he said softly. "We recovered it." Her breath caught. She had not heard that yet. "Recovered? In what condition?" "Bad," he admitted. "Very bad, but not hopeless." Rhea's hands clenched. "What are you planning to do with it?" Dr. Cade's expression warmed. "Rebuild it. No, make it better. The dragon can rise again, but we will need your help." Rhea's jaw tightened. "I can't even stand." He sat beside her bed. "You flew the dragon better than anyone alive. You understand its movements, its limits, and its potential. And there is something else." He pulled out a tablet and showed her a diagram of strange blue circuits woven into a ship structure. It looked nothing like standard human design. "This is technology we collected from old Velcor Rex," he explained. "It reacts to neural patterns. It learns from the pilot's mind." Rhea stared at the glowing lines, fascinated. "You want to combine it with the dragon?" Yes, the ship may respond directly to brain signals, meaning a pilot wouldn't need full physical control. They would think, and the ship would move. Rhea understood instantly. Her heart skipped. You want me to test it? Dr. Cade nodded slowly. Only if you choose to. You are not a soldier right now. You owe no one anything. But humanity needs the dragon. And I believe the dragon needs you. Rhea looked down at her unmoving legs. She felt anger, sadness, and a surprising spark of hope. Her body might be broken, but her mind was still sharp. Her spirit was still strong. Maybe this was a chance. Not to walk again, but to fly again. I'll do it, she said quietly. Dr. Cade's eyes shone with approval. I knew you would. 3 days later, Rhea arrived at the hidden base where Project Forge operated. The facility was deep beneath Earth's surface, protected by thick metal walls and guarded by silent security drones. As she rolled into the hangar in her chair, all noise seemed to fade. There, under bright lights and surrounded by tools, stood the dragon's remains. The ship looked like a wounded beast, scorched metal, torn wings, deep cracks along the hull. But even broken, it was beautiful. Rhea felt a sting in her chest, a memory of the sky she had lost. Dr. Cade stopped beside her. It hurts to see it like this, I know. But this is the start of something new. We'll rebuild it stronger than ever. Engineers gathered around, whispering with excitement. They greeted her with respect, their faces full of admiration. To them, she was a hero. But Rhea felt more like a ghost. Still, she nodded politely and focused on the ship. The days that followed were filled with planning, testing, and endless discussions. Rhea worked harder than she had since the accident. She studied alien circuitry with the engineers, pointing out how certain patterns might match human interface systems. Her mind was a weapon again, sharp and ready. One evening, when most of the team had gone home, Rhea remained in the hangar. She stared at the dragon's cockpit, remembering the feeling of control, the sense of unity with the machine, the freedom. Dr. Cade approached quietly. So are you, she replied. He chuckled. True, but I knew I would find you here. You miss it, don't you? Rhea didn't answer. Her silence was enough. Dr. Cade placed a device in her hand. It was a smooth metallic band. This is a prototype neural band, he explained. It reads the mind's signals. We want you to test it tomorrow. No. Rhea nodded, holding the device tightly. The next day, she sat in a testing room with electrodes placed around her head. The neural band hummed softly. A holographic model of the dragon appeared in front of her. Try to move the left wing, an engineer instructed. Rhea closed her eyes. She imagined the wing shifting, cutting through air. Something beeped. The hologram moved. The room erupted in cheers, but Rhea only stared, stunned. The movement had felt natural, like remembering how to breathe. Again, she whispered. They tested for hours. Forward thrust, defensive tilt, quick dodge. Everything she imagined. The model reacted to. Sometimes it lagged. Sometimes it failed. But it worked more often than it didn't. Her heart felt light for the first time since the crash. Later, during a break, she overheard 2 engineers speaking nervously. What if this doesn't work in real combat? One whispered. What if the neural link overloads? Said another. Or she gets hurt again? Rhea listened quietly. She didn't blame them. She wondered the same things. But fear had never been the limit for humans. They always pushed past it. Percent, percenter. Weeks passed, and the dragon slowly changed shape. New alloy plates were installed, glowing with faint alien energy. The wings became adjustable and fluid, capable of shifting in flight. The engine core was rebuilt from scratch, stronger and faster than before. Each day, Rhea trained with the neural band, shaping her thoughts into commands. One night, as she left the testing room, Dr. Cade walked beside her. "You're improving faster than any of us expected," he said with a smile. "Or maybe I just really want to fly again," she replied softly. He nodded. "Soon, Rhea. Very soon." She looked through the window at the dragon's glowing frame. Her legs still refused to move. But her mind had taken flight again. And she knew, deep inside, that the sky had not seen the last of her. The days inside Project Forge blended together as the dragon's rebirth continued. What had once been a shattered war machine now slowly took shape into something new. Engineers whispered that it wasn't just a repair, it was an evolution. A transformation. A merging of human creativity and alien technology that had never been done before. Rhea watched this transformation closely from her wheelchair, her sharp eyes missing nothing. She knew every curve of the ship, every panel, every hidden circuit, because she had lived inside the dragon for years. And now, as she helped rebuild it, she felt as if she were rebuilding a part of herself too. Each morning began the same way. Rhea entered the main hangar, rolled up to the observation deck, and studied the ship with the calm focus of a commander preparing for battle. The engineers greeted her with respect, but she rarely stopped to chat. Her mind remained locked on the ship, on the tests, on the future. One afternoon, Dr. Cade approached her with a datapad in hand. "We're ready for the integrated system test," he said, trying and failing to hide his excitement. Rhea raised an eyebrow. "Already? Isn't that ahead of schedule?" He smiled. "Yes, because of you." She didn't argue. It felt good to contribute. Even if she couldn't walk, her mind was still strong, still sharp, still useful. She followed Dr. Cade into the testing chamber where the neural interface core stood glowing faint blue within a transparent cylinder. The core was the heart of what made this rebuilt dragon different. It pulsed with alien energy patterns, fused with human design. If it worked, the ship would respond to a pilot's mind faster than hands or eyes could ever manage. The test room darkened as the activation sequence began. Lights traced along the walls, humming with soft sound. Rhea closed her eyes, feeling the neural band tighten around her head as it synced with the core. "Begin when you're ready," said Dr. Cade. Rhea took a slow breath. She imagined the dragon rising from the floor, wings unfolding. The mental picture was clear, strong, precise. The lights on the core flickered. Then they surged. The holographic dragon model in front of her rose gently, its wings unfolding just as she imagined. Engineers gasped. Dr. Cade whispered something under his breath, too soft to hear. Rhea opened her eyes, surprised by how natural it felt. Not like controlling a machine, but like moving a part of herself. "Try a flight roll," an engineer said carefully. Rhea focused again. The model twisted gracefully, smooth and sharp. The neural readings spiked in perfect rhythm. "It's responding at 97% efficiency," another engineer said, voice trembling with excitement. But Dr. Cade watched Rhea. Not the readings. "How does it feel?" he asked. She hesitated. "Like I'm flying again." Two. His smile held pride and relief. The test continued for hours, and by the end of the day, the room buzzed with energy. It was clear to everyone. The dragon could fly again, and it needed Rhea to do it. But progress brought attention they didn't want. One evening, as Rhea finished her final test, she noticed two uniformed officials waiting outside the chamber. They wore the symbols of Central Command high-ranking decision-makers. Their expressions were stiff and cold. Dr. Cade walked ahead to greet them. Rhea followed, wheels rolling silently across the metal floor. "We've reviewed your reports," said the taller official. "And we have concerns." Dr. Cade folded his arms. "Concerns?" The second official glanced at Rhea. "You are planning to put a paralyzed pilot inside a prototype ship, one fused with unstable alien technology, during a time of increasing alien activity." Rhea felt a sting but kept silent. Dr. Cade's voice grew firm. Commander Vance is more qualified than any pilot alive. That may be, said the first official. But it is reckless. The risks are too great. We are shutting down the project. The word struck like a blow. Rhea stared, stunned. Dr. Cade's jaw tightened. You can't. The dragon is nearly ready. The neural link works. It doesn't matter, said the official. This is a direct order. They left without another word. Doctor, Cade leaned heavily against the console, frustration clear on his face. Rhea approached him. They're scared, she said quietly. They think the risk is too big. They're fools, Dr. Cade muttered. Risk is the only reason humans ever reach the stars. Rhea looked at the dragon through the glass wall. The ship glowed softly under the lights, waiting for her. What are we going to do? She asked. Dr. Cade turned to her, calm returning to his eyes. And they did. The next few days, the project continued, though with fewer lights and fewer people. The official reports sent to command showed slow progress and incomplete results. But the real work continued behind sealed doors. Rhea spent long hours training with the neural band. She controlled drone simulations, executed complex maneuvers, and pushed her mind to its limits. Sometimes she felt drained, dizzy, or overwhelmed, but she refused to stop. Her body couldn't walk, but her spirit ran faster than ever. One night, when most of the team went home, Rhea remained alone in the hangar. She stared at the dragon's cockpit, thinking about the sky, about the freedom she once had. She whispered to the ship, as she used to during long missions. We'll fly again. I promise. The lights on the hull flickered gently, as if answering her. Suddenly, a loud alarm broke the silence. Rhea spun her chair toward the nearest screen. A message glowed in bright red. Velocore movement detected. Large fleet approaching. Her heart froze. She opened the base intercom. Dr. Cade, get to the hangar. Now. Minutes later, he arrived with several engineers. They gathered around the screens. It's an attack fleet, one engineer said shakily. Bigger than the last one. One his nother sense. Dr. Cade rubbed his forehead. If they hit Earth, we won't be ready. Rhea's voice cut through the room. Then we need to finish the dragon. Now, an engineer whispered. But command ordered us to stop. Rhea turned her chair toward the dragon. Her expression was calm, but her eyes burned with purpose. Command doesn't know what we know, she said. They don't understand what the dragon has become or what it can do. Dr. Cade looked at her for a long moment. Then he nodded. Prepare the ship. Engineers rushed into motion. The hangar filled with shouts, sparks, scanners, and light. The dragon's new systems came alive, glowing brighter than ever. Alien circuitry pulsed like veins. Human tech hummed like a heartbeat. Rhea rolled forward, stopping at the base of the boarding ramp. The dragon loomed above her like a sleeping titan waiting to be awakened. Dr. Cade placed a hand on her shoulder. Are you ready for this? She smiled for the first time in days. I was born ready. The ship hissed open, revealing the cockpit. Rhea moved forward, knowing the moment she entered, her life would change again. Her legs didn't work, but her mind was stronger than ever. The dragon waited, and together, they were going to face the sky again. The hangar lights dimmed as Rhea rolled her chair toward the dragon's open cockpit. The ship's interior glowed with soft blue light, like the calm breath of a creature waking from a long sleep. Engineers hurried around her, tightening bolts, checking energy levels, running last-minute diagnostics. Every sound echoed with tension. They all knew the Velocore fleet was approaching Earth. Time was running out. Dr. Cade walked beside her, his steps quick and focused. We'll do this as we practiced. The neural link should stabilize once you're fully connected. Rhea nodded, though her heart pounded hard enough that she could hear it in her ears. She wasn't nervous about the flight. She was nervous about losing the sky again. Nervous that something might fail. Nervous the dragon might slip away from her forever. But fear could not stop her. Not today. 2 engineers helped lift her into the cockpit seat. As they adjusted the harness around her, Rhea felt a rush of memories every flight she had made. Every battle. Every dive. Through enemy fire. She closed her eyes for a moment, letting the memories wrap around her like armor. When she opened them again, she felt ready. The neural band clicked into place around her head. She felt a faint tingling, then a warmth spreading through her mind as the system recognized her brain patterns. "System link beginning," one engineer announced. Rhea took a slow breath. She imagined lifting her hands, even though they were resting still on her lap. She imagined the dragon responding, just as it had in the simulations. A deep tone echoed through the cockpit. "Pilot synchronization complete," the ship's calm voice said. Her vision brightened. For a moment, she felt weightless. Then she felt something else, connection. The soft hum of the ship's core. The energy moving through its circuits. The subtle tension of its wings. All of it blended with her thoughts. It felt like opening a door inside her mind and finding her strength waiting there. Dr. Cade's voice came through the comm. "Commander, do you feel stable?" Rhea smiled. "Better than stable. I feel alive." The hangar roof opened slowly, revealing the night sky above. The moonlight touched the dragon's metal skin, making it shine like silver fire. Outside, alarms continued to warn of the incoming Velcor fleet. The world was moments away from danger. Engineers backed away, giving the dragon space. Rhea tightened her focus. The ship responded before she even gave a conscious command. Its engines hummed. Its wings shifted position. "Dragon, initiate liftoff," Rhea said. She didn't need to speak. Her thoughts were enough. The ship rose gently from the floor, hovering on a pillar of glowing energy. The wind from the thrust blew across the hangar, scattering papers and sending ripples through everyone's clothing. Engineers stared with wide eyes. Some cheered. Others cried with relief. Dr. Cade watched with proud, trembling hands. "She flies." Rhea looked ahead, her pulse steady now. The dragon's cockpit glass slid into place. The interior lights shifted into battle mode. She aimed her mind toward the sky. And the dragon obeyed. With a burst of power, the ship shot upward through the opening roof. The hangar dropped away beneath her, and the world widened into stars and darkness. Rhea felt no fear. She felt the same freedom she once had before the crash, only stronger. The neural link made everything sharper, faster, more responsive. Every movement felt like a heartbeat. Every turn felt like instinct. The sky welcomed her back. But there was no time to celebrate. A warning signal flashed at the edge of her vision. The Velcor fleet had entered the upper atmosphere, their ships moving like a dark cloud of metal shapes. They were ready to strike Earth again, harder than before. Rhea tightened her jaw. "Let's show them what humans do when we fall." She pushed forward, and the dragon shot toward the enemy with breathtaking speed. The first wave of alien ships detected her and formed a tight formation. They fired beams of pale energy. Rhea moved without thinking. She rolled the dragon sideways, slipping between the beams like sliding through rain. The neural link made her faster than she had ever been. She felt the enemy attacks before her sensors displayed them. She reacted like it was a dance she had practiced her whole life. She returned fire. Sharp bursts of glowing plasma shot from the dragon's wings, striking multiple enemy craft. Blue sparks burst across the sky as the swarm vessels fell. The Velcor adjusted instantly. More ships dived toward her. Rhea twisted sharply upward, letting gravity pull her into a tight loop. The dragon moved as smoothly as her own thoughts. No hesitation, no delay. She struck again. 2 enemy ships exploded behind her, leaving brief trails of blue smoke. "Come on," she whispered. The swarm responded with a surge of coordinated fire. The sky lit with streaks of alien energy. Rhea plunged downward, then climbed with such force that the air cracked behind her. The dragon's wings shifted into attack mode, edges glowing with alien circuitry. Rhea felt a thrill. She had never flown like this before. The neural link gave her freedom she didn't know she had lost. Her body could not move, but her mind was unstoppable. A warning flashed. Multiple enemy ships locked onto her. She turned sharply, cutting through the air in a move no normal craft could make. The alien ships tried to follow, but couldn't match the sudden shift. They overshot their path, became exposed. Rhea fired. 3 more ships fell. The battle raged across the upper atmosphere. Earth's defense teams were overwhelmed on the surface, but the dragon carved a path of hope through the sky. As Rhea flew deeper into the swarm, she spotted the largest ship, the enemy command vessel. Dark, massive, pulsing with strange blue lines. She felt the ship's heavy presence even before her sensors confirmed it. A cold pressure washed over her mind through the neural link. Like the craft was watching her. Rhea steadied herself. This ends tonight. She aimed for the command ship. The Velcor fighters swarmed her path, trying to block her. She dodged, rolled, and climbed, tearing through them with precision. The dragon's wings folded inward, shifting into piercing mode. Rhea felt the power building inside the core, ready to release. She pushed forward, mind and ship locked together in perfect unity. Enemy fire rained around her. One blast grazed the dragon's side, shaking the cockpit. Rhea gritted her teeth. The ship might be damaged, but it wasn't broken. Neither was she. She roared through the sky, closing the distance to the command ship. The massive vessel activated its shields, spreading a glowing barrier. Rhea focused. The dragon's energy surged in response, the alien circuits glowing brighter than ever. She dove toward the shield. Everything exploded into light, and the dragon broke through. The barrier shattered. The command ship's systems flickered. The Velcor fleet wavered, confused, and uncoordinated. Rhea raised her head, sweat on her brow, determination in her eyes. "We're not done." She prepared for the final strike. Earth watched. The dragon soared, and the sky trembled under human will. The command ship loomed ahead of Rhea like a dark mountain floating in the sky. Its surface pulsed with slow blue energy, as if it were breathing. The dragon's wings glowed brighter with each beat of Rhea's heart. She could feel the strain in the ship's core, the energy swirling dangerously. But she also felt strength, more strength than she had believed possible. Below her, Earth lay silent, watching. People stared at the sky, following the silver streak that was the dragon. In cities, on ships, in bunkers, millions of eyes looked up with a mixture of fear and hope. Their fate rested with a pilot who couldn't walk, and a ship rebuilt from broken parts and impossible ideas. Rhea did not think about the weight of that responsibility. She focused only on the target. The command ship responded as she approached. Massive plates opened across its surface, revealing hidden weapons. Bright beams shot through the air, slicing toward her. The dragon jerked as Rhea dodged left, then right. The movement so fast even gravity could barely keep up. The neural link reacted instantly to her thoughts. She didn't need to plan her moves or calculate. She simply felt where she needed to be, and the ship moved. Even when fire grazed the dragon's outer wing, she stayed calm. Her breathing was steady, her mind razor-sharp. She whispered to the ship, "Stay with me." The cockpit lights flickered as if answering. The Velcor fleet wavered behind her, confused after losing their shield core. Fighters attempted to regroup, but their timing was broken. Their formations shifted unevenly, giving Earth's defense teams a sudden advantage. Rhea knew she had opened the door, but the final step was hers alone. She pushed the dragon faster. Wind roared around the hull. The starship became a streak of silver and blue as she closed the distance to the command ship. At this speed, one mistake would be fatal. But she didn't fear it. She moved with confidence, with purpose, with a fire the swarm had never seen. She reached the outer hull. Massive vents opened, releasing waves of energy. She rolled the dragon under them, then climbed sharply to avoid a second blast. The alien ship reacted with surprising speed, as if trying to predict her movements. Rhea smirked. You can't predict humans. Her fingers tightened around the armrests, though she knew she didn't need them. The neural link pulsed with her determination. She felt the dragon's core heating, the strange alien circuits shifting colors, responding to her emotions. A large opening on the enemy vessel slid apart some kind of central access port. Rhea knew this was her chance. If she could strike the core inside, she might shut down the entire fleet. She dove toward the opening. Enemy fire erupted from the port. Dozens of beams converged on her. Rhea swerved, twisting the dragon in a move so sharp it left a spiral of vapor behind. She slipped through the first volley, then two more. Finally, a blast struck the underside of the ship. The cockpit jolted. Pain shot through her mind, feedback from the neural system. She gasped, but didn't stop. The dragon trembled, but didn't fall. You're with me, she whispered again. We finish this together. She aimed herself at the port and shot forward like a blade of light. Inside the alien vessel, the air was thick with energy fields and glowing structures. The core chamber lay deeper in the ship, pulsing like a beating heart. Rhea felt the electric pressure in her thoughts, pushing against her mind. She fought it, forcing her focus to stay sharp. The dragon soared down a narrow shaft, dodging beams that shot from the walls. Sparks flew as a beam clipped the tip of the right wing. Rhea rotated the ship sideways, gliding through a tight gap that no pilot using hands could have managed. Alien drones launched from compartments lining the shaft. They sped toward her, moving in smooth, coordinated patterns. Rhea dipped low, fired a burst, and destroyed 3. Then she spun upward, letting the remaining drones collide with each other. The shaft opened suddenly into a massive chamber. The core hung in the center, an enormous sphere of twisting blue lights. It pulsed slowly, but each pulse carried immense energy. This was the mind of the fleet, the center of the swarm. A warning flashed across Rhea's vision. The dragon's energy levels were unstable. The ship couldn't sustain a full blast and survive. Dr. Cade's voice echoed through the comm, faint from interference. Rhea, listen to me. If you fire the full charge inside that chamber, the ship won't hold together. You won't make it out. Rhea exhaled slowly. If I don't, Earth won't make it. Silence fell. Then Dr. Cade answered quietly. We created this ship to save lives. I won't tell you what to do. You choose. Rhea looked at the glowing core. She could see dozens, maybe hundreds, of thin energy lines branching from it like nerves across the ship. Every alien fighter outside depended on this. She closed her eyes. She imagined Earth below her. The families watching. The people who believed in her. The engineers who rebuilt the dragon with hope and tears. She imagined the sky she loved, the freedom she had regained when the neural link let her fly again. She imagined the crash that had taken her legs, and the moment she thought her journey was over. But this was why she survived. Not to fall, but to rise. She whispered, Dragon. One last push. The ship's wings unfolded, glowing brighter than they ever had. The core inside the dragon roared with energy, vibrating through her mind. She felt the ship straining, metal shivering, circuitry burning hot. The neural link hummed like a heartbeat. Rhea aimed at the enemy core. She fired. The blast was so bright it swallowed the chamber. The enemy core cracked, then shattered. sending a shockwave through the ship. The Velcor vessel convulsed as systems failed. Every drone, every fighter outside suddenly froze mid-air as their network collapsed. The Dragon was thrown backward by the explosion. Rhea screamed as the neural surge hit her mind like a storm. The ship's alarms exploded in sound. Sparks rained inside the cockpit. Fire crawled along the side panels. But she held on. The ship tumbled down the shaft. Rhea fought to regain control. But the Dragon was badly damaged. The wings flickered. The engine sputtered. Still, she tried. Still, she refused to let the sky take her. Finally, she broke free of the command ship, bursting into open air. The massive alien vessel began to fall apart in bright pieces behind her. The Dragon spun wildly. Rhea tried to level it, but the controls were fading. Flames spread along the hull. She whispered, voice weak, "Come on." The ship steadied. Barely. As Earth's atmosphere welcomed them back, the Dragon's engine gave one last shaking pulse. Then it went silent. The ship glided downward, smoke trailing behind. Rescue teams rushed to intercept. Rhea felt her body grow heavy, her vision dimming. But she smiled. The fleet was defeated. Earth was safe. And the Dragon had flown again. When the ship touched down on the surface, rescue workers broke open the cockpit. They found Rhea unconscious but alive. Her hands rested calmly on her lap. The neural band still glowed faintly, as if holding her mind gently even in sleep. Dr. Cade pushed through the crowd, tears in his tired eyes. Across the world, people celebrated. The sky lit with cheers, fireworks, and messages of hope. A pilot who could not walk had carried humanity to victory. A broken ship had risen higher than ever before. Days later, Rhea woke in a hospital bed. Dr. Cade stood beside her. "You did it," he said softly. Rhea smiled weakly. "We did it." Outside her window, she could see the sky wide, peaceful, and bright. It no longer felt like a place she had lost. It felt like a promise. She knew she might never walk again. But she had flown. And she would fly again. Because humans did more than survive. They rose. They rebuilt. They made legends from wreckage and hope. And the Dragon's second flight had only just begun.